It's not showing me who joined. So if you could join, please comment. Let me know who's here. Again, I'm excited about this episode, but I'm nervous as hell. Yeah. So try my best. Let a couple more people get in here. We can get started. Live on YouTube. How's everyone doing tonight? So let a couple more people get in here before we get started. I'm using the snowball. Why? Put a comment below. Let me know who's here. And just wait for a couple more people to get in, and then we'll get started. What's up, Jules? How's it going? Today's episode is probably going to be a little bit longer than the last one, just because I have so much more to say, so much more to get out. That's pretty much it. I just want to wait for a lot of other people to get in. I know a lot of people told me that they were joining, so let me text some people that told me to text them. Hello. Hello.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm in the middle of my live view or my live on YouTube right now. About to record my second episode.
That's what's up, man. Kudos to that. I think you sent me a message on here, and I opened it and erased, but I think it said something about having me or something, or I didn't remember, but I Was it you?
Yeah. That was me. You know, like I said, we all have stories, and you know, I would love for you to be a feature if you ever wanted to tell your story. I know, you know, you're a
Yeah.
grinder. I know you have a different story than some other people. That's just basically that's what the platform I'm creating is, helping others, you know, get some of the poison out of their life, or you know, helping others help, you know, get that poison out of their life. People who have made it and done some good things.
Yeah, I can talk about me being in the game for 10 years and making a whole bunch of money, losing it all, and having to start all over, and
And being a businessman.
yeah.
So but I just sent you the link now. I'm gonna get on with this YouTube. If you want to join in, I'd be more than glad for you to join in.
Yeah, I'd be cool to rap on your podcast and stuff.
Cool. I appreciate it, brother.
Let me know when and how you want to handle that, and I'm down. I'm game.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. Appreciate you.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. All right, bye.
All right. Let's get this started. So let me record over here. Give me 1 second. I'd open up my recording. All right. Let's get into it. Well, the mic I'm using is a Snowball mic I got on Amazon with the stand for like $60. So it wasn't too expensive. It works pretty well. It came with like a little thing to block out the noise. Supposed to, but I guess my wife said you could hear my kids. But I wanted to welcome everybody back to the No Love Lost podcast. I just wanted to say thank you again to everyone who has joined, listened in the last 3 days. I believe we were over 80. We were over 80 listens on YouTube, on all, you know, on all platforms. I really didn't expect to get this much excuse me. I didn't expect to get this much engagement right away. I thought, you know, it was going to have to build up to what it is, but I think that the meaning behind it and the things that I'm trying to create, this platform I'm trying to build, I think it's very necessary at this point in a lot of people's life. Sorry, excuse me. People are texting me trying to ask for the link. Make sure everyone has it. I want as many people in here as possible. But yeah, like I was having a conversation with one of my friends this week, and I feel like us millennials are kind of like at a point in our life. Some are about to be 30, just turned 30, or you know, past 25 at least. That I feel like we're at a place where it's time to open up, where it's finally okay to open up, and I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I know it's time for me to open up. I know it's time for me to let everything out. Being a macho man, you know, it's good, but you know, to be a macho man, to be, you know, a big old gorilla all the time, angry, or, you know, just whatever, you know, I mean, we're all not like that. We're not like that with our kids. We're not like that with our wives. So I feel like it's time for everybody to open up, and I just wanted to create a platform that made it okay, that made it, you know, acceptable for that. So, I know a lot of people have wanted to share their stories. A lot of people reached out about their stories. And I'm going to get with you guys this week. I have 2 people this week that are ready to share their story. I believe I record tomorrow and Wednesday. Those will be coming out this week. I'm going to put out as many episodes as people want to record. Not going to really have like a set date or set schedule. It's kind of just be, whenever we're ready, whenever that person's ready to open up. So I hope more people are ready to open up. If not, that's what I'm here for, to try and help you guys out. So really, in this episode, I wanted to talk about, the rest of my journey. I gave you guys just a little small sample size with the lady at Walmart. It was crazy, but this episode's getting a whole lot deeper. This episode's going to show you hurt, show you other people's wrongs, show my wrongs. Yeah, so like I said, I'm nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. And then we're going to talk about a generational pattern of family abusing each other. I feel like that's huge. I know I've witnessed it for 26, 27 years of family using each other, family talking down on each other, families just being negative in your life. And, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve someone talking down on you. Most people battle themselves enough, other than just someone else, down talking them, downplaying themselves. And then the next, we're going to get into our first core wound, which is the fear of not being acknowledged. It might sound something that's you can look over, but actually I feel like a lot of people could pertain to this, because I know I can, or I know I did. And yeah, so let's get into it. The last episode, I left off with, the woman at Walmart who reached out to me and told me about some of the negative energies I had in my life. We prayed, and she warned me that a lot of people were going to be cut out from my life. A lot of people weren't good for me. And I didn't really I started noticing people's energy shift. I started noticing, just different things. I guess I was aware now. I was aware of how people felt. I was aware of what was going on. Just that, there was negative people around me. So it was probably about a couple weeks before my wedding, whenever I noticed a big change. I noticed a big change in my life. I noticed a big change between mine and my mom's relationship. And like I told Desiree, I knew a fight was coming. I knew something was coming. Me and my mom have never had the best relationship because of her addiction. I never forgave her until this last time we started talking, and she told me, where she was sorry, for everything. And I told her, there's no reason to be sorry. There's really not. What happened for a reason, and that's what made me a man. That's what made my life. That was a part of my story. And there's no reason to feel sorry. There's no reason to feel ashamed for it. And because now that I go back on my life, I would not change anything in my life, because I am who I am today because of it. And yeah, so deep down inside, I just knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And whenever we were in the final stages of our planning, my mom promised me probably about 6 months before our wedding that she was gonna have $500 from me for the venue, and that was her gift for the wedding. And I counted her in on that, and the budget, everything like that. And 2 days before the wedding, I got paid. I had everything aside. I needed to go pay this, and I asked her for the money, and she told me no, I don't have it. My car just got repoed. She was slow at work, or and just all these other things. And and I understood. I wasn't mad about her like that, because her car did get repossessed. I don't know if she was really slow or not, but I was understandable. I was stressed out as hell, but I understood. And um so now, I'm looking back at the budget. I'm trying to figure out, how could I make up this $500? I talked to the guy Lonnie at our venue. He was cool with me bringing $500 after the venue. I was kind of hoping that I would even make $500 for a wedding. I wasn't sure, but I knew if there was a will, there was a way, and I would pay it back. So, we did the rehearsal. We went and set up at the wedding. Everything was good. Well, it was okay. My mom was kind of in her feelings about certain things, and I just I wasn't paying attention to it because it was my day. It was Desiree's day, and I didn't want nothing to get involved in that. I was there to have a good time. I was there to you know to to celebrate. And so after that, we made reservations for probably about 55, 60 of us to go back to Olive Garden. And my mom told me she couldn't make it because they were broke. They didn't have no money. All this and that above. And I understood, she couldn't give me no money. She couldn't help me out. So I understood. And probably like in the middle of our dinner, we're celebrating with friends and family. It was a great time. I sit down and I hopped on my phone, look on Snapchat. My mom's partying at Marisco's with my sisters and some family from out of town. Um, and like they were celebrating my sister's birthday, which was 2 days after my wedding. And like I was hurt, like is my day not big enough for you to come celebrate, like. And so the next day for the wedding, I kind of just left it alone, even though I was hurt. But I just didn't want to fight. I didn't want to fight with my mom, especially and ruin Desiree's and mine big day. Like I just left it alone. And everything went great. The ceremony was beautiful. You had a good turnout. Until the pictures came, and I told everybody, hey, I want only the wedding party to go take pictures. And there's a bunch of beautiful places at the venue for everyone to take pictures. And my sister started throwing a little fit because she wasn't in my wedding because she didn't want to be in my wedding no more because she thought she was pregnant a long time ago. She didn't want to rejoin, which, hey, cool, fine. And she was like, well, I'm left out of pictures. And I told her, you know what? That was your choice to stay out. This is my day. You'll have your day. You can run your day however you want to run your day. It's how I want to run my day. And she kind of just shut up. So, we went and took pictures and, went back to the ceremony, introduced, ate. We did all of our typical dances: first dance, mother daughter dance, or mother son dance, daughter father dance. And my mom wanted to do a special dance of a daughter-in-law or mother-in-law dance. And I thought, okay, whatever, cool. I mean, you and Desiree haven't always had the best relationship because you don't like her for whatever, you never liked her for whatever reason. But cool. You guys want to, whatever you want to amend, you can. So, um, my wedding was great. Finished it. The night was good. About a week later, we were at my mom's house, and she started talking about my sister's wedding that was coming up in about a month, and she had the nerve to tell me, "Oh, I just gave Alexis $500 um, for her catering for her wedding." And I was like, "Wait, like, hold on. You told me you were broke. You didn't offer to give me no money even after to help out. Like." I was pissed. I was furious. My mom did that with she had some pretty big, some a pretty big nerve to say that. But I said, you know what? Leave it alone, Josh. It's fine. Be the bigger person. Your sister's wedding coming up. Don't ruin her day. So I said, okay. I remembered what the lady at Walmart told me about, people coming into my life and people leaving my life. So I said, okay. I stopped, let it go. And sorry guys, it's just getting a little. So my van broke down probably about a week later. I asked my mom to pick up the kids. She picked them up. It actually happened to be on the day of my kids' open house. And she calls Desiree, she asked, "Hey, can we take the kids to open house?" Well, she called Desiree. And Desiree told him no, because we're very involved in our kids' school. We talk to the teachers almost every other day or every day. We have a very good relationship with all three of our kids that are in school. And Desiree said, no, we're in Daniel's the middle transition of a new teacher is not even there. Nevaeh, we talk to her every day, So, Desiree just didn't feel like it was her place or her time for my mom, to my mom or my sister take them to school. Like that's something a parent should do if they're not able to be involved. Plus, by the time they got home, they showered. It was gonna be late. I don't know if but three kids to get ready for school is hard, especially Liliana. Like she's not a morning person at all, at all, at all, at all. Hi, Miss Hatler. And so Desiree told them no. And lo and behold, shit hit the fan. My mom started calling Desiree a bitch and a whore and everything else in the book. And Desiree called me. She asked me to go get the kids because she wasn't gonna deal with the whole situation. She was pissed off. She was angry, but she knew how much I wanted my mom, and she just didn't want to cause that fight. So, and this wasn't the first time Desiree's disrespected my mom, or my mom's disrespected Desiree. This is probably like the third, fourth time, but it was just different. Like, it was just different this time. And I don't know why, like, I've always stuck up for Desiree at the end of the day. I've stopped talking to my mom probably about maybe 2-3 times. But, like, I don't know, like, this time it just wasn't okay. Like, if it's not okay for me to talk to my wife as a husband, which it never is. It never is to talk to your wife or talk to anyone like that. You know, um, I was just furious. Like I was pissed. Like, how are you gonna have a daughter mother-in-law dance at my wedding? You want all this attention. You want everyone to think that you're such a great mother-in-law or you're such this, you're such that, and you go and do this. Like I just didn't get it. Like I didn't get where it came from at all. And so I'm driving to my mom's and I'm furious. I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm just like, Josh, you and your mom have came this far. Just leave it. Talk about it later. We'll figure things out. So I was like, okay, cool. So I get there. I was cool. After I walk inside my mom's, I pick up my kids, say hi to everybody. My mom was, I don't know where she was. While I'm getting the kids in the car, trying to get the kids in the car, my mom comes out and she was like, the only thing I ask of you is just don't keep the kids away from me. And I turned around and I was like, hold on, like, how do you expect me to still allow my kids to come to your home? Like, you're calling their mom a bitch, you're calling their mom a whore in front of them, mind you, in front of them. What example does that teach my kids? What example does that set for my kids that it's okay to talk to their mom about, like that? Like, no, like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't know where this is going to go, but right now, no, like my kids are not going to go anywhere near your home. And so my mom gets in my face because of course she doesn't get her way. And, we start arguing. I kind of tell her like, hey, like back up. Like, I don't have respect for you like that. Like, you weren't there raising me. You weren't there growing up. Like, like you just don't have that. Like, you don't have that respect for me. Like, back up. And then my sister gets in my face and, she's like 2 to 3 months pregnant at the time. She just announced she was pregnant. And I kind of told her like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, you're pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, you're 2 to 3 months pregnant. Like, what are you doing? This then and this doesn't have anything to involve you. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with you. And so kind of step to the side and I'm talking, me and my mom are kind of, in a confrontation, and all of a sudden I feel someone hit me inside of the cheek, and like I look and it was my sister, and I was like, oh man, like what are you doing? Like, you're pregnant. Like you're pregnant with my, niece, nephew, whatever. So me and my mom are still in a confrontation. We're heated, and she hits me again. And like at this time, like I kind of lost it. Um, um, you know, I hit her twice, and like I come back to my senses, and I'm just like, oh, like what just happened, like, and she's like, you just hit me, I'm pregnant, what do you think you're doing, blah 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 blah, I mean, just ghetto as hell, my boyfriend's gonna beat you up, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, like, I mean, you weren't acting pregnant whenever you were hitting me, in the first place. Like, I'm not saying I'm right, because I was dead wrong. Like, I never should have even put my hand on my sister, and that's something I've always I've never done. Um, just put my hands on a woman, but like I just snapped. Like I snapped. And and then like, I just hear my mom like, you're a fucking pussy. Like, I'm gonna go get my brass knuckles. And like she leaves in the house and she comes out. Like I know my mom's like not all there. Like I know for a fact my mom's not all there. So I know for a fact she went and got him. And I was just like, hold on, like, whoa, like I need to go over there before, I get blindsided again with this down with brass knuckles, And like her husband gets in the way, and he's trying to hold me back, he's trying to push me back, and I throw him to the ground, he gets in my face, and like I told him like what? Like, he was the main factor of my mom's drug addiction growing up for so long. So I I've always had hatred towards him, but I've always respected him for my mom, to make my mom and his relationship a better relationship, because that's what type of respect I have. I never once called him out. I never once tried to fight him whenever, I could have and I should have, but, I didn't. Um, and, like I finally got the kids backpack somehow, some way. And then they like, my biggest lesson just right then and there, like now I look back on it, I should have left those damn backpacks. Like whatever was worth in those backpacks, whatever that backpack was worth, like it wasn't worth hitting my sister. It wasn't worth the words that were said. It wasn't worth, anything, like that stuff's replaceable. Anything replaceable can be replaced again. And so I finally get my kids in the car. I left. I get to my house. I wash out my mouth. My mouth's bleeding. And like I call my mom, because I didn't know I didn't know what happened. I didn't know nothing. Like it was just like it happened so quick, and I was like, whoa. And right away, she just started she started yelling, screaming. So I hung up. Like, obviously you're not in a place to talk. Like, and then like I call a few people, just to like figure out like I guess to help me wrap around, my senses, to help me around what I was thinking. Like I was numb. Like I was sad, I was mad, I was angry, like I just everything and all the above, like I was just sitting there like damn, like I just hit my sister. Like I was a protector growing up, like none of them had dads. Like I was the dad. I was the protector. I made sure nothing happened to them. And it like it hurt. Like it hurt. Like it hurt. And I talked to some family, I talked to some friends, and um, I always like my son growing up, I've always told him like one, like you never hit a woman, your wife, your girlfriend, especially, your sisters. I have three little girls myself, and like I failed in front of my kids, like what I preach to my kids every day, I failed. Like, like it was a tough pill to swallow. It was tough, and I knew like I had to apologize. I had to apologize to my kids, because I shouldn't have put them in that predicament. That was my bet. That was my biggest thing. And we had a conversation, and I broke down in front of them. I cried, and my kids have never seen me cry. My wife has barely probably seen me cry a couple times, but like I just felt so low in life. Like, me and mom tried to build this relationship for so long, and it got torn down, like, and it hurt, like it hurt. Um and like, like, we laid in bed, and Desiree even told me, she's like, I'm sorry, like I should have just let them go. Like I should have just kept my mouth shut. And I told her, no, you know what, you did what you did what you want, like, you did what you thought was best for your kids, which staying out till 9 o'clock at night was, you felt like wasn't best for your kids. And and I told her, and she was like, well, what about yours and your mom's relationship? I told her, you know what, I have you guys and I have my kids, and that's okay. This is my family I created, and my family I created is number one. The family I created will always come before anybody, especially my kids and my wife. Make sure that they're okay before I'm okay. And you know, I told her, like, I'm sorry, I just uh, so I got a meeting with my counselor the next day or a couple days after, and we talked about it, and I still wasn't feeling better. I still wasn't feeling better about the situation. It still hurt. It was still, it was still hard. And like, I called my boss, and they gave me a couple days off. And then, I called him after my appointment, and I told him, hey, like, I'm not in a better place. Like, I need more time. Like, I need more time. So, he told me to call Sedgwick, which was a time I was working for Comcast, and they handle all of Comcast counseling services. So, you know, I called them whenever, I start talking to them. They told me, well, your counselor needs to fill out some information. So I said, okay. Only problem was is my counselor was halfway to Mexico at the time on a 2-week vacation. I asked him, well, when does this need to be in? She said by the end of the week. So she was like, well, we can open you up with someone else if that's what you want. And I was like, man, like, I didn't want to change. I didn't want no change at all. I hated changing. I hated reintroducing myself. I hated talking about my story again. I was still hurt. I was still, I was still in a dark place. Like, and so I say, screw it. Like, what other choice do I have? Like, what other choice do I have? And, so they sent me information, schedule the time. And like, I remember looking at the email and I saw her name. Her name was Sanjet Ram. And I was like, they told me it was going to be a video conference. And I said, God, this lady's far away. Like, she's probably not even understand me. Like, I'm not going to understand her. Like, this is terrible. But I downloaded everything they need me to download, and I went to that appointment, and it was the best damn thing I ever did in my life. I was open up to, like, I had, the world forced me to open up, to be okay, to change. The world forced me to be okay, to understand, like, sometimes change, like, you need to change. Sometimes changes are for the best. Like, I told her everything about myself. I told her about some things that probably a lot of people don't know. And no, like, I've never cut myself or tried to kill myself or nothing like that. But we'll get into those stories. Like, I knew it was time for me to open up. Like, I knew it. I knew it was time for me to open up. It was time for a change in my life. It was time to get this poison out that I had in myself. And like, if not now, like, when would it have ever been okay to break this cycle, to change, to just do anything? And she told me to sage my house. She told me to she actually introduced me to a new thing, which I think some of you guys could possibly try, which is called Palo Santo. Um, and in that, it's a air clarifying. It's something that you do kind of, it's to create a vibe. It's to create. It's it's to clear the room. And I did. Um, it was. I started feeling better. Got out my story. I got out some things. She introduced some books to me, which is The Artist Way. Um, this book right here, it helped me out so much. Helped me get my feelings out. Taught me how to get my feelings out. It helped me be creative. It helped me learn this brand. Growing up, we kind of think like we're not a creative person. We're all creative. We're all creative in our own way. It's just we were told growing up that we weren't creative. It's told that we weren't, that we didn't have a creative bone in our body, but we all do. It's just it's up to us to you know to find that book right there, the exercises, the writings, the things. That book is really great. The next book right here, it's called The Homecoming by John Barish. It's talk about the reclaiming and healing your inner child. That book came up because I was telling her, I feel like that 9-year-old little boy again, hurt, sad, disappointed, but at the same time, I just wanted my mom. Like, that's all I wanted was my mom. And, she told me that's not what you want. That's what that 9-year-old little boy, that voice, that 9-year-old little boy inside your heart, that's what he wants. That's what he's still hoping for, that she can be that person that you wanted her to be. And it sounds weird, but it made sense. Like, there was still that 9-year-old little boy inside of me that was hurt. There was still that 9-year-old little boy in me that wanted my mom, even though I knew my mom wasn't good for me. She's never been good for me. She's never been good for anybody but herself. At that moment, I started reading that book. I started doing some different things. Actually, I read this other book. It's called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. It's talking about surrendering yourself, surrendering that old person, becoming a new person. It was deep. It was deep. I went probably about 2 weeks. I still did, my little things. But I stayed off from drowning myself in the PlayStation. I started trying to be a father again. I started trying to hang out with my wife a little bit more, hang out with my kids a little bit more. And it's been great. Like, it's been like my mind's been clear. It sucks that, along the way, like, I lost my mom. But at the same time, I'll sacrifice my mom. I'll sacrifice my relationship for the happiness of mine and my wife's, relationship. I'll sacrifice to break that generational pattern, that generational curse of hurt, of betrayal, of hurting my kids, yelling at my kids, screaming at my kids. I'll sacrifice that relationship for the better relationship of my parent, or of my kids. In there, I started learning about how to reparent, how to stop telling your kids, shut up, stop crying, let them cry, let them cry. You'll be surprised if your kids, I used to tell my kids, go to your room and go cry, they'll cry for 45 minutes straight and they're still not done crying. You're like, damn, what do you still have to cry about? Like, Jesus. But if you hold your kids for 45 seconds and tell them, let me know when you're ready to talk, they'll stop crying in 30 seconds, and they'll tell you what's wrong. It's just been a complete wonder. But just talking to people, I know how much of their families are bad. But like, I got it. Oh, we're family. We have to stay together. We're all we got. We're family. It's okay. Like, forgive each other, move on. No. It's not okay to move on. It's not okay to hold on to those relationships. It's gonna hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna hurt. It hurt me, but I'm in a better place because I let go. Because I let go of toxic people. You know, those who are my family, 9 times out of 10, or 6 out of 10. A lot of people I consider my family. They're not blood. One thing I heard probably about 5 years ago, and I always wanted it tattooed on me because I thought it was so real, was blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. There's people who have been there for me that I didn't expect to be there for me whenever I needed somebody. A lot of the times, those that you love the most are gonna let you down the most. Um, that's why I created this brand. The brand is bigger within itself. And like, I know there's a lot of people who stay in contact with family. They stay in contact with friends or exes, who manipulate them, who manipulate them into staying around because they make them feel bad. Oh, you don't know how long so and so is going to be around, don't you want to love her while she's here? Don't you want to see her while she's here? If it costs me my happiness, no. 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 It don't matter. It don't matter to me. My happiness, I will trade my happiness for anything. Anything negative. My happiness is something that can be destroyed. It was a tough road. There was a lot of ups and downs. A lot of downs. Like, I had to find myself again. Like, a lot of people were messaging me, and they're just like, how did you become, like, happy? How did you become, whole again to be able to talk about this? It took a lot of self-love. Like, once you start learning about self-healing, and once you learn about self-love, like, it gets addicting. It gets totally addicting. Like, you'll start, like, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You'll see what amazing things it does for you. And honestly, like, it's amazing. Like, once you start loving yourself, once you start loving the person who you are, like, there's nothing that can stop you. There's really not. Like, I know me, like, my depression, I put on 60, 70 pounds since high school. And my big goal, which sounds like everyone else's, is to get back in the gym, and um eat better and to do better. But like, I have to do it. Like, it has to be a lifestyle change. This whole thing has been a different lifestyle change for me. It's been for the better. I've been happy. And I just I just want so many other people to witness what I've witnessed. I want so many people to feel the way that I felt, because it changed my life. Like, I just want people to be happy. um I know how it's like. So I appreciate everybody for just listening to this story. This was the huge part of my journey, of letting go. This was a huge part of my journey of stop holding on. Stop forcing something that doesn't need to be there. Stop forcing, narcissistic people. Stop allowing people to tell you your worth. Stop trying to get validation from people. And there's more. Once, like, I feel like I gotta talk about this. My biggest thing was I didn't have no self-validation at all. Like, I didn't have no self-validation. I always looked for everyone else's validation. I've been wanting to be an entrepreneur for years. For years, there's been times where I've had over $10,000 in my bank. I wanted to start up a business. Talked to my dad about it. He said, "For what? Go get a good job. Go get a good retirement. Go get a good benefits. And I did. I listened to him. I thought, my dad was right. I thought that the path, the vision my dad had for me was right. But in all reality, like, what makes my dad happy, or what, was the right thing for my dad, wasn't right for me. So I stopped asking for people's opinions on what they thought about that. Instead, I just started creating content. I started doing what made me happy. In this podcast, I'm probably in this, a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. They aren't going to agree with my message. But at the end of the day, that's fine, because I'm not doing this to be liked. I'm not doing this for the love. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for none of that. Like, I'm doing this because this is genuinely what I want to do. Like, this is me. This is what makes me happy. And later on, I'll get into the core wound of self-validation, of validating yourself. This first one we're going to talk about, which is the fear of not being acknowledged. And it says right here, this is based on receiving unconditional validation as a child. It could be due to a parent who were reluctant to praising you, parents who compare yourself to your siblings or other children, or parents who were forced on shortcoming than success, long-term success. This is a result from false hierarchy in school environment, such as grades, awards, etc. In school, I wasn't the best kid. I was very smart. I was very, very smart. I've always been smart. I've been talking since I was a year and a half, putting puzzles together since I was 2. But when you start learning about Saturn, you start learning about these things you don't care about. How many rings around Saturn have to do with my success, with what I'm going to do whenever I'm older? Nothing to do with me. Who cares about this bullshit? That was my thought. I let go. I disengaged. I was a kind of get by student. The only thing that I liked was math, because money was math. You have to learn how to count money. Math. So that's what intrigued me. This leads to you overworking yourself, over volunteering yourself, micromanaging others, helicopter parenting, which that was me. Trying to control every phase of your life. That was me. I'm gonna have a home by this time. I'm gonna do this by this time. I'm gonna do this week. I'm gonna be paid off on debt this week. I'm gonna be paid off here. I'm gonna be paid off there. That was all me. I don't know why it's doing that. Professional, perfectionism. Everything has to be perfect. Bossiness, attention seekers, making things about yourself whenever you're sharing, whenever others are sharing their experiences. You're talking instead of listening. You rather talk instead of listen. To help this shadow wound, it is vital to self-validate yourself. Begin to release your dependence on outside approval. What other people think about what you're doing doesn't matter. Like I said, if you wanna blog about cats, about the Ninja Turtles, there's someone out there that will pay you for it. Find that person. Find what makes you happy. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Validate yourself before others validate for you. Observe what areas in your life you are exerting too much control, telling others what to do, micromanaging. Once you observe these aspects of yourself, tell yourself, your inner child, it's okay to let that go. If we don't talk to that inner child, 9 times out of 10, that inner child doesn't believe in you, doesn't believe everything you've done, because that child's been let down so many times. If you talk to that child every time you start getting that feeling, hey, I just tell him all the time, hey, little Josh, it's all right, man. Trust me. I'm here now. I'm whole. I'm here. I know what I did to you before. I know I neglected you for so many so many years. I know I did not listen to you. I know you're hurt. But it's okay. I'm aware now. I'm aware. I'm here. Let me champion him. Let me raise this little boy. Let me help this little boy grow. You have to learn to trust yourself. You have to teach that little boy to trust himself, to trust you. Because if not, he's just gonna, every time something happens, he's gonna pop up, and you're just gonna act. He has to trust you. If he don't trust you, you're not gonna trust nobody. You're still gonna be miserable. That inner child is huge. You're not a bad person, you know, for making those who are unhealed, you know, for their opinions. You're not a bad person for that. But they know, like, it's okay to get others' opinions, but they no longer serve you. I get others' opinions all the time. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? How do you think about this flyer? What do you think about this picture? I get others' opinions because I might not know where I'm going. At the end of the day, I still do what I want to do. At the end of the day, I still do what makes me happy, what I feel is right. You know, no validation from an external source can substitute your own validation from yourself. Like, again, if you don't have validation from yourself, how are you gonna get validation from other people? How are you gonna take that experience? You know, you know, just to simply observe other people without judgment can help you release your energy. Um, there's been many people who have talked to me about, relationship, about, things that they've endured. If you know me, I'm a very blunt person. I'm not gonna tell you nothing like mean, malicious, but I'm gonna tell you my feelings. I'm gonna tell you how it really is. And you could take it with a grain of salt. You can hate me for it, but as a friend, that's what my job is to do. But at the end of the day, I will never judge you for anything that you tell me. You know, we all have our own baggage. None of us are perfect. I'm not. I've made plenty of mistakes. I made terrible mistakes. I made things that I'm not proud of. Done things I'm not proud of. But at the end of the day, like, no one should ever feel like you need to be, okay for someone else. I've lived my life for 27 years for my father, for my grandpa. I got a job at the jail. Worst decision of my life was getting a job at that place, working 72 hours a week. Why? Because the 20-year retirement, because the benefits were great. Those benefits sucked. The mental health issues I got from just working there, the PTSD, the anxiety, the depression, falling even deeper into depression, getting jumped, getting blindsided, nearly breaking my whole femur from working up there, sitting down, And it's funny because 9 times out of 10, most of those people who are in there, they're not bad people. They're just, they're so caught up in their lifestyle. It's those who I worked with that were the worst than the ones that were in there locked up fighting their case. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. Those are the negative leeches. Like I tell everybody, anytime someone wants to work there, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Yes, the money's good. Yes, everything. Money's not worth it. Another thing I wanted to kind of talk about was, I've had good paying jobs. Worked at the jail, worked at ADT. I worked for Comcast. Hell, I mean, this year, I made well over $60,000. Quit my job because I wasn't happy. Some people tell me I'm crazy. Some people say, man, that's a good paying job. What are you doing? You're set. But I wasn't happy. What's the point of having money? Like, I've had plenty of money, like, but I was so unhappy I would just blow the money because that was me trying to hide my pain. That was me trying to mask my pain by buying me a brand new pair of Jordans, by buying me hats, by buying me clothes, by buying me, this, by buying my kids everything that they needed. Oh, my kids need this. My kids need that. My kids need these. My kids need that. I was just unhappy. And now, yes, I have other ways of income, that I'm working on. My clothing brand, have some other things I'm working on. Even what's the worst that's going to happen out of this? I got to go back to going and getting a job. But at the end of the day, I tried this. I think my message behind this is, if you guys aren't happy with where you're at in life, do what makes you happy. Who cares what your parents think? Who cares what grandpa thinks? Who cares? Who cares? It's not their life. They've lived their life. Your life is your life. You live your life for what you want to live it in. because at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but you ain't dying. You ain't dying with grandma. Like once grandma dies, like your life still continues. You know, one, it's that, and I don't mean to be like, wish death on nobody's family, but it's true. Like one thing, my cousin Kevin said is, whenever my grandpa passed away, I took it kind of hard, and he was like, the thing about life that sucks is when someone dies, the world doesn't stop. Like your life might stop for a minute, but the world keeps going. The bills are still due. Things still got to get paid. You know, and so that now I understand it more. Now I understand it more because at the end of the day, like you have to live your life. I I just wanted to tell everybody again, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. Thank you just for everything, for the kind words, those who have encouraged me. I've even had people who have bashed me, hey, thank you. Thank you. Because at the end of the day, it's fine. At the end of the day, those are just words. At the end of the day, I'm doing this because this is what I want to do, because I love this. And I love you guys, and I just want to see people win. I just want to see people win. I just want to see people happy. And that's really my message behind this is, I want to see people win. I want to see people happy. I think I'm pretty much going to wrap it up. This has been great. I know I'll continue to get the support. I know a lot of people can relate. I have 2 recordings this week. Like I said, if you want to get in, I'm free to get in whenever you guys really want to. I don't have a job. So please, let's get in. Let's get a script together. Let's get something together. What you want to talk about? I like to write a script just so that way, I'm kind of organized, in my discussion. I know today I was a little unorganized in the end, but I just had some stuff flowing on the top of my mind. If you're not ready to open up, that's perfectly fine. But I do recommend getting those books. If you want, you can message me on anything on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Message me for those books. Those books have changed my life. Those books will change your life. They're not really like a book you can get an audio book on, just because they have exercises in them. They have stuff for you to write. They have checklists. So it's something that I don't. You can't really do like an audio book. It's more of like, an interactive books. So whenever you guys are ready, please reach out to me. Even if it's just, hey, I am interested, but not right now. I want to do a little bit more self-healing. I want to do a little bit more. That's pretty much it. So I appreciate everybody again. No love lost, loyalty over love. Love yourself. Love those who love you. Even if it's those who you don't want, or even if it's those who you want to love you the most, it don't matter. But most importantly, love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, nobody's going to love you. If you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you. So again, thank you, everybody. The marathon continues. We're still going. I appreciate everybody. You guys have a great night.